What is good, y'all? We are here on the LaBoss Show, episode 2, Life Abroad in Portugal. We have a very, very special guest here with me today. Harvard Law Grad, former NFL HR executive, published author, executive coach, CEO, husband, father. Welcome to the channel, man.
That's a great intro, man.
Rory Verrett.
I gotta pay you for PR.
Welcome to the channel. How you doing today, man?
I'm great, man. Happy to be here.
Good. Let's get right to it. So, why Portugal? How'd you end up in Portugal? Tell us the background story. Yep.
Sure. Portugal is the most random of countries for my family. We have never been to Portugal. We've never wanted to go to Portugal.
Okay.
We, in 2016, when Hillary Clinton lost, my wife and I half jokingly said, where we're going to go if things get crazy. And we first considered countries in Africa. So we went to South Africa. I went there twice, once by myself for a conference and once when I brought my wife and daughter. And we loved it, but practically it wasn't going to work. It's an 18-hour flight away. We both had parents with some mild medical issues, so that wasn't going to work. Around the same time, my daughter came out as gay, and so once you have black and gay, the world gets very, very small in terms of what's hospitable and progressive in laws in terms of both of those issues, and including immigration. So we started looking at places that were progressive on those issues, and Portugal kept coming up as a great place to live, to retire, to be a digital nomad, expat, whatever. And so we said, let's take an extended vacation, a sabbatical for 2 months.
2 months.
In 2021, because COVID, everybody was locked up. We had a bunch of trips. My wife and I were both turning 50. A lot of vacations had gotten canceled. So we said, let's take a big trip, combine them all together for 2 months. We'll go to Portugal. If Portugal turns out not to be the right place, we'll keep going through Western Europe because it's probably somewhere in Western Europe. It's probably France, Spain, Portugal, the Netherlands, the UK. And we came to Portugal and it met all of our elements of our litmus test. It was progressive on those issues. There was a big black expat community. It was a short flight from DC where we also live. And we just had a lot of fun. We just enjoyed the weather, the people were friendly, the lifestyle, we just loved it. And then last year, so the idea was we'd come here for vacation maybe 2 weeks a year. We bought this condo as a vacation home. And then there was a school shooting at my daughter's school in April of 2022, last year, so about 18 months ago. And we decided, okay, we probably need to do a study abroad for a year, kind of as a mental health break for all of us, and decided to come to Portugal. My daughter got into 2 schools, and I said, look, if you want to come back to the States, you can. And she and my wife and I both re-upped for another year, and so here we are.
Wow. So first you started off as a vacation home plan.
Right. It was a pull.
And then so you would say the shooting, unfortunately, at your daughter's school put the
that was the push.
That was the extension.
Right. And then Portugal came up even stronger because of the safety issue. So it was like we didn't want to go to another country that was like, I mean, South Africa, for example, has a huge crime problem. So like we're going somewhere that's the opposite of the United States in terms of the crime and the mass shootings, and Portugal, of course, has none of that.
Okay. So let's touch upon. So you're not just moving individually; you move with your family.
Correct.
So how was the process like finding those schools for your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, no worries. We had a lot of help. You know, Stanley and Sylvia.
The guys, the people,
the
community.
So we just put a request out on the Black in Portugal group, who can help us with schools. They both replied. At one point I was texting.
Was this before you knew them, or did you already know them?
I did not know them at all.
Wow, okay.
This was after the school shooting. Within a week we were like, let's do a trip to Portugal.
Okay.
So we started applying to schools. And they were like, this school, not that school, look at this school, we consider this school. At one point I was texting, he goes by Eddie, I was texting Eddie and WhatsApping Sylvia at the same time.
Same time.
Like, he was in Florida, she was here. And they welcomed us, they had a dinner for us outside their condo and just broke down the school situation. And so for that, I mean, we are eternally grateful. Because we were in desperate shape to get information. They really helped us. So my daughter wound up going to one school, transferred to another school, but we made the absolute right choices for her based on the information they provided for us.
Okay, that's amazing. So it's like you already had that community feel before
Yes.
even arriving.
I mean, and it's not a fake thing like when people see maybe on the Black in Portugal page or just in expat groups, it's a lot of parties or it's this or that. It's people helping each other with real life situations. We've had friends that have gone through cancer treatment and we've been there for them.
Here in Portugal?
Here in Portugal.
Wow.
We've had, us with the school shooting situation. So people in really exigent, kind of intense situations and being helped out is something I can never repay, which is why I'm trying to be helpful to so many people in my own way.
Yeah, and you have, listen, any questions you have at Rory in the groups, he will get back to you. So that's amazing. Wow, that's amazing. So what would you say has been the best thing for you and your family now that you guys have been here past the extension of just a month? And so what would you say has been the best thing for you guys and your family? For you and your family?
Yeah. So we've been here about 15 months.
15 months now.
And we split our time in Maryland and here. So we still have a home in Maryland. Our business clients, almost all of them, exception of 2 in the EU, are in the US. So I split my time probably 60-40, 70-30 here, there.
Okay.
I mean, being a present father, my daughter's in school, high school here, so we're trying to be present for her, but I do a lot of travel. I mean, when you combine November and December, I will have been to LA twice, DC twice, Atlanta, North Carolina, and New York.
Published author, I told y'all.
So it's a lot. Speaking engagements, client visits, I'm on the board of a company, family time with my mom in North Carolina, family in Atlanta. And so it just winds up being a very hectic travel schedule for me. Yeah. But overall, I think the safety here is what's the best improvement in our lives. Yeah. I mean, once you change how you move around a city because of safety, you can stay out later. You can go out more often. Yep. You can let your child explore the city, have free time with their friends, and not be on pins and needles when they're at the mall or at a park, worrying about if somebody's going to put them in a van or a random shooting. Yeah. So that has been a complete peace of mind change for us. Yeah,
wow, and that's everybody I talk to with families. That's the first thing they say is safety. First thing, especially coming from the U.S. So that being said, what most people that are looking to move, not just in Portugal but abroad in general, are moving with kids. Whether it's 1, 2, however many, they're moving with their families. A lot of people are, single individual. But what advice would you give to that foreigner, whether it's from the U.S. or England or wherever they are, that is hesitant on making the move because they feel like, oh, will this work out for my kids? But they're also like concerned about the safety of where they are, So
number one, I think kids are resilient. And we moved a child that was finishing their freshman year of high school.
So that's So that's that time where they're trying to find.
Correct.
Okay.
And they've made friends here. Yeah. In fact, I would say they have a more vibrant social life here than we had in the States. So no, that's number one. Number two is that you have to find a place that connects with how your lifestyle is, right? So we love great weather. Having a big Black expat community here is very important. I mean, I freely interact with people of all races. I run a diversity recruiting firm. Our firm is diverse, but I really wanted to be around people that knew the culture and the struggle and the lifestyle of where I had come from. And so I think that was very important. Number three, I would say, is you have to find community wherever you can find it. Like I said, for me, that was here. It could be, you're into outdoor activities and you go to a culture that's big on hiking or surfing, or you're into culture, and so a city like Paris or London might be more interesting and relevant. You might build a community of culture aficionados there. And then number four, I would say, is you got to assess whether your status quo is ever going to improve. And so we came to the position that we were never going to improve the safety scenario. We had moved to the private school that my daughter attended because there had been a threat of a school shooting at the public school. In fact,
this is back in the States.
There have been multiple threats of shootings in this school system, and this is suburban, affluent school system.
Yeah.
And so we were like, okay, this situation is not going to improve. We can't buy our way to safety.
Yeah.
$45,000 a year at a private school, and it's still a guy opens up his window and shoots 239 bullets. So you got to figure out how to solve for what I call the big marbles in your life.
Yeah.
All right. If that's quality of life, if that's affordability, if that's safety, if that's a more equitable work-life balance, you got to solve for those issues. And there are dozens of countries around the world that offer a different quality of life. That, you know, I tell my friends, I'm like, how many of you still live in the cities you were born in?
Yeah.
None of them.
Yeah.
None of them. And I'm like, okay, so you moved from Wichita to Dallas. You moved from St. Louis to Columbia. You moved from Savannah to Atlanta. You moved from New Orleans to New York.
Yeah.
Why does that stop at the border?
Yeah, exactly. There's
Doesn't
a
have
range
to.
for everybody.
Doesn't have to.
You know, so.
And the last thing I'll say about that, so that's a great question, is it is both harder and easier than you think. It is very difficult on the administrative side. I married an accountant. My wife manages a lot of the logistics and administrative details of this and operational details. So we're blessed with that. But once that's done, I am still at pinch myself about the level at the quality of life. And I've been here 15 months and I'm still like, wow, this is my life.
Yeah.
It was worth, we would have paid double the price and double the headache
for what
if we had known what it would be on the other side.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into my next question. So if you were still in the U.S., how do you feel like life would be for you and your family if you were still in the U.S. at this time?
So I would say a couple things. Number one, our business would still be going strong.
Okay.
I mean, the U.S. has a robust economy.
Yeah.
So we are trying to reform that economy by making it more equitable and more inclusive with C-suite corporate leaders and recruiting leaders of color and women into those organizations. So our business would have been still as strong.
Okay.
I think that our quality of life, it was what it was. It was Friday night when you're finished working, right? I would go with my daughter to get takeout, and we come back home. You know?
So you're not,
I'm in the basement. I'm watching Netflix. My wife's doing a puzzle. My daughter's on her iPad. We were not out in the community. We were not out in the external world a lot. It was errand running, and we came back in. I think after the shooting, it just changed how we moved a lot. We looked at getting out of the house as a bit of a game of Survivor. And I know that's probably unique. And it's probably unique to us because once that happens to you, it just changes how you move around.
That's very unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. And Rory, let me tell you something. Rory is Rory's in his teens. He's out and about living his best life. On a Tuesday, messaging, what are you up to? So that's amazing. And that's a big thing I don't think people realize is once you are in a new location, that quality of life changes everything.
I'm 53.
Yeah.
Those of us in our 40s
and 50s?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You look young, man. I told y'all he look young and happy.
We say we're living our 20s all over again. Right? So your 20s, you start realizing it's before kids for most of us. Yeah. It's after college. It's when you're just free and having fun and parties and clubs. And I'm not really into clubs, but you know, wine bars, restaurants, house parties, lounges. I mean, Lisbon offers a lot of that. And then, you know, I've been to Paris 3 times in a year. Because it's cheap. Yeah. Before that, I've been to Paris twice in my life. Yeah. So before 52, twice. This year, 3 times. 4 times in the last 2 years. Yeah. So you can get around to exciting, interesting places and really curate your life and lifestyle in a way that we didn't think was possible in the U.S. with the mass shooting stuff. Yeah.
So what would you say, still relating to the U.S., you miss about? Because a lot of people, this comes up a lot in the groups, whether it's, I think I'm leaving family behind, or will I make new friends, or I think I'm gonna miss this, or will I find stuff that reminds me of home? So it seems like you've had that, but you also split time. People need to also realize that we can get on planes nowadays.
That's right.
But if there's something that you're like, I absolutely, what would you say you miss about the U.S., if anything?
So you're not gonna make every epic friend and family gathering.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Like when you're abroad or in U.S.?
When I'm here in Portugal, like I missed my 35th high school reunion.
Oh, okay, yes.
I missed Howard Homecoming.
Okay.
I missed some business conferences maybe I want to go to. Because you're not going to get on a plane for every one of them.
Everything,
I mean, it's still
yeah.
8 hours, 7 hours back. And that's just to get to DC. So I really wanted to go to my 35th high school reunion. Shout out to the St. Augustine High School Purple Knights, class of 88.
Class of 88.
Can't make it. Couldn't make it.
Okay.
Howard Homecoming. Can't make it.
Man.
So you're going to miss out on some stories. Oh my God, we had a great time. Remember when such and such? You're not going to have those stories. I have a whole new set of stories here.
Yeah, okay.
I have a whole new set of stories here. And so I do make the big events like Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit, 2 different family locations, Atlanta, North Carolina, probably for like 10 days,
Okay.
So you're not going to make them all. And I do miss that. First I missed Amazon, but then I found out Amazon Spain. So
okay, so just Amazon conference or
no, Amazon.com, like ordering something and you getting it the next day.
Yeah.
Right. So Amazon Spain does not have the same inventory as Amazon from the US.
Yeah.
So and then you got to translate it, whatever. But we get by and we go back. When we go back, we bring stuff back.
Yeah.
A lot of food stuffs like they don't have really good lemon pepper seasoning here.
Yeah,
so I'm bringing lemon pepper seasoning
I forgot
back.
about that.
I'm
gonna text you for some things. Okay.
I'm bringing some red beans back.
Okay.
There's just stuff like that on the one hand, culturally it's really cool because you typically have to go to small to medium-sized shops to get stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's an IKEA here. There are large department stores like Walmart and Target here. You can drive to Spain a few hours, go to Costco, but the convenience, the language barrier, plus just the lack of abundance of consumer products can, on the margin, create a little bit of a hassle. But it is by no means. I'm perfectly comfortable getting on my bike, going to 6 different stores to find the exact button I need for my jacket, than being on my keyboard on Amazon. I mean, it makes the journey more interesting.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So let's touch upon another topic: health insurance. So do you have health insurance here in Portugal?
Yes.
Okay. What would you say? Because you're a family of 3.
Correct.
So I think that's another thing people, especially those moving from the U.S., because health insurance in the U.S. is crazy expensive. So how would you compare the health insurance from Portugal to the U.S. if you've used it already, the pricing, everything?
Yeah, it is about 20% of the cost.
Okay.
Of the U.S. Same coverage. My wife always gets the premium Cadillac coverage. So the same coverage, it's about 20% of the cost.
20% of the cost.
So I've had a situation where I occasionally get a migraine, and I had a really bad one, and I went to the emergency room, and within about 2.5 to 3 hours, I had been seen, checked in, spoken to in English by the triage nurse, the doctor. I had been, they had suggested an MRI to be done that day.
Wow.
So I did an MRI, a CAT scan that day.
Okay.
And got my results. All of that within about 2.5 hours. I mean, it felt like I sat for 20, 25 minutes, had to go back, talk to the doctor. 20, 25 minutes, go talk to another doctor.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a CAT scan a day. Go sit. Come back, do the CAT scan. Come back, here's your results. Come back, talk to the doctor about your prescription. You get prescription strength to leave. You're done.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would have happened in the U.S. They would have resisted giving me the CAT scan.
Yeah.
They would have scheduled it maybe 2 weeks later or something.
Yeah.
The wait time probably would have been longer. So the healthcare delivery is extraordinary.
Okay.
And it's 20% of the cost.
20% of the cost. And then, I mean, that says it all. That says it all.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's like you're getting a Mercedes for 20% of the cost that you would somewhere else. I mean, it's still a Mercedes.
Yeah. Healthcare is great. And then we'll go back to your daughter real quick.
Yep.
How would you say she is enjoying school versus being here versus the U.S. after you found the schooling for her?
Yeah, I think the schooling thing works well. Again, you think in the back of your mind, okay, my child will be the only kid that's not Portuguese. But I mean, she's in an international school, right? So everybody there is new. Everybody's from somewhere else. Everybody is trying to make friends. So they're all alike in that way, even though they're very different. Yeah. So my daughter has friends from Angola, Ukraine.
That's amazing. That's amazing. At a young age, that is amazing.
All over the world. So it has been a much easier acclimation than we thought. Because again, in the back of your mind, you think, oh, my child will be the only black kid, the only gay kid, the only American kid. Turns out not only of any of those things.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So, if you would, what you know now about living abroad and being abroad, and you said it was 2016 was when those the first thought, right?
Yeah, of living abroad.
Of living abroad. What, if you know what you know now and your experience, would you have gone sooner? Let's say maybe in your 20s. Like, what would you say to that?
Absolutely. My biggest regret is that I went straight from college to law school.
Okay.
I was all my close friends know this crazy story. They're gonna smirk when they hear this. But I got close to being a Rhodes Scholar, but wasn't. And so that was going to be my time in England and get a master's degree, come back to law school. But I was so eager to kind of move to that next level academically that you get a letter from Harvard Law, you can't turn it down. But I should have deferred it. I should have spent 2 years going around Europe, either getting a master's degree or working. I was into politics at the time, maybe working in UK in the parliament, or just something to take a break from the sort of the assembly line that I didn't know I was on. Yeah. Right? College, law school, crank you out as a lawyer, then you're a partner, then you're a senior partner. And that's
one after the other.
Yeah, it's 25 years.
Yeah.
And it goes by quickly. So I definitely would have done it sooner. And my advice to everyone that is in their 20s, even 30s, especially before you have kids, or even actually if you have kids, is to globalize your career. Globalize your career. Globalize your career.
I like that.
Think about yourself as a global citizen who is placed in the United States. Right? Change the framework of it being the default.
Yeah.
It is a vibrant economy, but there are vibrant economies all over the world. And so I think especially for people of color that tend to define themselves, and I think America can sometimes define you as here is your place in America. I think to disrupt that and see yourself as a citizen of the world with 200 countries at your fingertips, as it were, and available to you before you have parents that are sick and aging, before you have kids that you will have to deal with the disruption of their lives. When you are unattached in your 20s, go.
Rory's preaching on this Sunday. Wow, that was wow. Yeah, that's amazing advice. That's amazing advice. But from your experience and hard work, you know that, which is great. So, just 2 more questions.
Sure.
So, the relocation process of being in Portugal, getting this apartment and everything. If you want to, as much as you want to say, touch on that. How was finding that home in that process?
It was sort of not that dissimilar from buying a home in the States. I mean, we got a realtor.
Okay.
We got a mortgage. Yeah. Made a down payment. I mean, it's our first time buying a condo, so that was different because the building had to get up and you had to see your unit and that kind of thing. It wasn't like a freestanding home. It was the first time, second time we bought a brand new home. So that was different, but the mechanics of it in terms of home buying were very similar. And as long as you have good credit and you got the money, Portuguese banks will lend you money.
Yeah. It's nice and simple. And did you, before finding this, did you go through like a bunch of different apartments, homes? Sure. Like, were you kind of set on? You kind of knew this is what you wanted. Like, how was?
No, this was actually, we resisted this neighborhood.
Oh, really?
I know it's your favorite neighborhood. But
what?
We thought it was so far out.
Oh.
I mean, and this, for those of you that know Atlanta, this is sort of like the Buckhead of Lisbon. Okay. It's exactly 6 miles from the city center, which, take that as like Peachtree Center. And this is Buckhead. It has hotels, it has business offices, and it has high-rise condos. And it's kind of an entertainment business residential district. That's kind of unique. And it's new. So we looked at old Lisbon. We wanted the cobblestone streets, the flower shop below us. We wanted that kind of vibe. But every time we looked at places like that, we kept coming up short with it's really, really small. The amenities weren't there.
Okay.
There was a noise factor because there was construction nearby because Lisbon is going through a renaissance.
Yeah.
So out here, it's in the city, but it's quiet.
Yeah.
As you know, I ride a bike around town. bike lanes all the way through the city. You can't have that really in Lisbon. I mean, there's some bike lanes if you go through the central artery, but these side streets and those hills, so this area is flat. My daughter can walk to school. We're on the waterfront. We have 100 restaurants within a 15-minute walk. So for us, this was right. And our realtor said it. He was like, you're not going to be you're thinking about this through the tourist lens. You're not going to be a tourist. You're going to be living here.
You're going to be living.
And living here means, where's the grocery store? Where's the hardware store? So the other day, I rode my bike. I posted on Facebook. I rode my bike to the hardware store, the version of, it's called Leroy Merlin. It's like the Home Depot.
The Home Depot of the...
or Lowe's. Shout out to Lowe's. Black CEO. I rode back with a drying rack, rubber tubing.
This is on your bike?
On my bike. And I had a wine decanter.
All on your
I'm going
bike?
straight Euro. Like all on my bike. Like I'm riding the bike and I'm carrying it. Right? So I could do that here. And I mean, it's a 10-minute ride. So it's not like I'm riding for 30 minutes. It's like, okay, can you hold this thing up for 10 minutes? Yes. So it's very convenient. So I would say, trust your realtor. Trust your realtor, and they know the local market. Find one you can vibe with, and that's what we did. And he saved us because the runner-up place from this was right next to the Russian embassy, which meant nothing before protests outside the place, guy with a gun outside your apartment. I mean, it would have been a little disruptive.
You guys are at peace now. So okay. So for those that are starting the process from the States or from UK or wherever it is, if there was, and let's say if you did that, right, you weren't able to, visit as much as you wanted or to go just to have boots on the ground. If there was a service that was able to do that for you versus providing the videos, the feedbacks, hey, there's a grocery store here, there's the school over here, would you have found that service?
Possibly. I mean, my wife and I just love the idea of figuring out the problem. It was a pain in the butt sometimes. It was also fun, to figure out, okay, this neighborhood is nice. What about that neighborhood? Like when we got down to these two places, we had dinner a couple of nights in the place over there. We had dinner over here just to figure out, okay, all right, it's Friday night. This is what we'd be doing. We'd be having dinner. Is the neighborhood, is it boring? Is it too busy? Is it loud? What's the vibe on a Friday? And so I would say, just maybe start with, definitely get a realtor. I think if you had a full service, it could be helpful if you don't have the time. We have the time.
You have the time.
We have
for
the time.
People that don't have the time.
Correct. If you're in the States and you can't get here, and somebody says, I'm gonna take you to 5 neighborhoods, I'm gonna show you 5 different places, I'm gonna talk to you about schools and those, that would have been very helpful. But we run our own business. It can be done virtually. So we had time to say, okay, we're gonna, while your school is shut down after the school shooting, we're gonna take one of those weeks, and we're gonna go to Lisbon and look at new schools. So we had the time.
They have the time. Okay. So for those that don't have the time,
definitely worthwhile.
Portugal Property Inside Tours. This is what I do here in Lisbon, helping you with the initial process, providing you with virtual videos, feedbacks, locations. If you don't have the time, of course, to get there and be here. So, listen, Rory Verrett, appreciate you, man, having you on the channel.
Thank you,
Second episode, like I said, published author. Matter of fact, could you please tell them about
about the book?
Yeah, tell them about your book, man.
That explains this.
Your time to shine.
My mother crocheted this. So the name of our firm is Protege Search, and the book is coming out December 7th. It's called The Pomegranate Principle. That's why that's up there. And it's a framework on how companies can recruit and retain diverse talent.
Framework how companies can recruit and retain diverse talent. That's amazing. That's amazing. And talk about your speaking engagements, man. He's global. He's global.
I spoke in LA to the to Ad Colors, which is a minority association of advertising executives, as a career coach. So shout out to Ad Colors and Anna Lean, who invited me. And I spoke at Omnicom, which is one of the top ad agencies in the world, at their annual conference. So I'm booking speaking engagements right now. If you want to book somebody for Black History Month in the U.S., I'll be doing a tour around there. And in March, I'm going to be doing a book launch here in Lisbon.
Oh, really? Yeah. Oh, congratulations. I know that. I will be there. Okay. Rory does it all. Listen, one of the most intelligent men I know, Rory Verrett. Book is coming out December 7th. Make sure you go get that and stay tuned. Let's end it off with this. I hope you remember this quote.
All right.
I know it, but I don't want to say it. So you said the quote unquote the American dream, the lifestyle of 3 different locations, right? I'm gonna say a little bit so you can get it.
Okay.
But with America, it has to do with the tax advantages and everything. Then you said European lifestyle, then African Caribbean roots. Tell them, because if you wanna spill it, but this is a quote for the century, right?
Yeah. Here. So my wife and I, my daughter and I, figured out that we needed to get a little bit from each different segment of the world and from kind of our background. So we want to reform the American economy,
yes, sir,
as diversity executives. We want to live a European lifestyle,
yep,
balanced with work and life, emphasis on life, long lunches, long vacations, spending time with friends. And we want to be grounded in African and indigenous values, support for the community, uplifting the community, and living sustainably. So we want to compete in the American economy, live a European lifestyle, which is grounded in African and indigenous values. Yeah. That's our kind of family mantra, and it works for us.
Hey, it works. It works. Listen, Rory, appreciate you on the channel.
Proud of you, man.
It's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Episode 2. Listen, make sure you stay tuned for the next one. Very excited to have Rory on the channel. Again, CEO, father, husband, published author, executive coach, former NFL HR executive coach. And we're going to wrap it up. Listen, make sure you like this video, comment below questions you want to see for the next episode, and subscribe to the channel. Life is a journey and we ain't make it yet. This is my brand, and stay tuned. We're out of here.